And just another one to kind of highlight the changes. This is the 1941 image, and the current, or 2019 vegetation line superimposed on that. So while you've lost a lot of beach here on the center and west side of the island, you can just see all this bright sand means that's recent changes. It's been so recent that it hasn't had time to vegetate. And having this feature, like this dark area, that shows that this was a site of a shoal attachment where the shoreline was back here, sand attached to the beach and built this new ridge. And over time that would migrate higher in the profile, move landward, and develop dune ridges. But just very highly dynamic area. And so when we were first working with Dewey's, we worked with Lori to look at some of the water levels within Lake Timicau. So we put in water levels right at the breach, water level meters right at the breach, at one pipe and at two pipes. And what we noticed, and what's kind of relevant now, is here at one pipe in the orange, the water never actually decreased too far. And that's because there's a natural sill effect where the marsh area, both on the landward and or the inner and outer portion of one pipe, is actually pretty high. There's not a deep channel feeding that pipe system. So it's really only flushing water at maybe the highest third to half of the high tide cycle. As the tide starts falling, it basically just creates a pond there because there's not a channel deep enough to let the water flow out of it. So that has implications for if we are considering diking off that northern end, if we're looking at getting significant flushing of that or having the ability to control the water at all tides, we'll either need a water control system through that dike or need to do some manipulation around the one pipe area to allow some of that control.
Sorry, could you just clarify one pipe and two pipes for those who are not totally familiar with it?
Sure.
What are you talking about?
One pipe is the structure here, and then two pipes is the structure further east.
Two pipes is what we called six pipes.
No. Yeah, one pipe.
At Velvet Creek.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So if you're able to zoom in on this, you'll see that this area is pretty high marsh. There's not a creek feeding it kind of on either side. So at very high tide, water can get up and through it, but as soon as we get to mid-tide or lower, there's really no more exchange to it. And this is a similar graphic as Lori was showing a minute ago. And this is just looking at the past month of Charleston Harbor water levels. And this one actually is modified it so it is relative to NAVD, which is approximate mean sea level. So just over the past month, we had this 5-foot NAVD tide, which again corresponds to about an 8-foot mean lower low water tide. So if we just kind of look at that number, that 5, being, okay, that's a high spring tide that had a wind event associated with it. You can see over the period of about 3 to 4 days, the water levels never got as low as they were predicted to be. So that shows you there was a sustained weather event, whether it was a low pressure system for a couple of days or northeast wind.